Breaking news for anyone looking to buy or sell a home in Oklahoma right now. The housing shortage that has gripped the state for years is reaching a critical point in 2025. And what happens next could determine whether you can afford to own a home in this state at all. Welcome to Oklahoma House Report. Today we're diving deep into Oklahoma's housing crisis, the numbers behind the shortage, what's causing it, and what experts say is coming in the months ahead. Spoiler alert, those experts aren't exactly throwing confetti and celebrating. Oklahoma is short approximately 45,000 housing units as of early 2025. That's 45,000 families, young professionals, and retirees who cannot find adequate housing in communities across our state. To put that in perspective, that's like the entire population of Midwest City just not having anywhere to live. This isn't just an Oklahoma City or Tulsa problem. This shortage is hitting rural communities just as hard, maybe even harder, because those areas have even fewer resources to address the crisis. The Oklahoma Housing Finance Agency released updated figures in January 2025, showing that the gap between housing supply and demand has widened by 12% compared to 2024. That's not a gentle slope. That's practically a cliff. Let's break down what's driving this shortage. First, population growth. The Oklahoma City metro alone added roughly 28,000 new residents in 2024. More people need more homes. It's that simple. But here's the problem. We're not building fast enough to keep up. In 2024, Oklahoma issued permits for approximately 18,000 new housing units statewide. But when you factor in population growth, household formation, and the replacement of aging housing stock, we actually need closer to 25,000 to 28,000 new units every single year just to maintain equilibrium. We're falling short by 7,000 to 10,000 homes annually, and that gap compounds. Every year we don't build enough, the shortage gets worse. It stacks, it accumulates. Second major factor, construction costs. The cost to build a single-family home in Oklahoma has increased by approximately 32% since 2020. Lumber prices, while stabilized from their pandemic peak, are still significantly higher than historical norms. Labor costs have surged as Oklahoma faces a severe shortage of skilled construction workers. The Associated General Contractors of America estimates that Oklahoma needs approximately 8,000 additional construction workers right now to meet current demand. 8,000 workers we simply don't have. When it costs more to build and there aren't enough workers to do the building, developers slow down. Projects get delayed. Some projects never break ground at all. Third factor, affordable housing. This is perhaps the most critical piece of the puzzle. The median home price in Oklahoma City hit $342,000 in February 2025. In Tulsa, it's $318,000. Here's the reality for Oklahomans. The median household income in Oklahoma is approximately $61,000. Using the traditional guideline that housing should cost no more than 3 times your annual income, that means the typical Oklahoma household can afford a home priced around $183,000. See the problem? The median home price is nearly double what the median household can actually afford. This affordability gap is pushing home ownership out of reach for a massive segment of Oklahoma's population. Data from the Oklahoma Association of Realtors shows that first-time buyers made up only 24% of home purchases in 2024, down from 31% in 2022. Young families, recent college graduates, service workers, teachers, these are the people being priced out of home ownership entirely. When people can't buy, they rent. Average rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in Oklahoma City is now approximately $1,300 per month. In Tulsa, it's around $1,150. Those numbers have increased by roughly 18% since 2023. For households earning the median income, that's right at the 30% threshold financial advisors recommend. But half of households earn less than that median. For those households, housing costs are consuming 35%. 40%, even 50% of their income. That's not sustainable. Now let's talk about what's being done to address this crisis. The Oklahoma legislature allocated $120 million in housing-related funding for fiscal year 2025. That includes money for affordable housing development, down payment assistance programs, and infrastructure improvements. 120 million sounds substantial. But when you're trying to close a 45,000 unit gap, it barely makes a dent. Simple math tells you that 120 million might fund 400 to 600 units. That's helpful for those families, but it doesn't solve the overall shortage. Several Oklahoma cities are trying innovative approaches. Oklahoma City updated its zoning codes in late 2024 to allow more diverse housing types, including duplexes, triplexes, and accessory dwelling units in areas previously zoned only for single-family homes. Early data shows a 23% increase in permit applications for these diverse housing types. That's actual progress. Tulsa launched a housing incentive program offering tax abatements and expedited permitting for developers who commit to building affordable housing units. As of March 2025, the program has attracted commitments for approximately 1,200 new affordable units over the next 3 years. Here's another angle that doesn't get enough attention: workforce housing. This is housing specifically for teachers, nurses, police officers, firefighters, and other essential workers. These professions typically pay between $40,000 and $65,000 annually in Oklahoma. At those income levels, affording market rate housing in growing metro areas is nearly impossible. Several school districts across Oklahoma reported difficulty recruiting and retaining teachers in 2024, specifically because teachers couldn't find affordable housing near their schools. Some teachers are commuting 60 to 90 minutes each way because that's where they can afford to live. The Oklahoma State Department of Health released data showing that rural hospitals are struggling to recruit nurses and medical staff, partly due to housing availability. Small towns don't have apartment complexes or diverse housing options, so rural hospitals can't find nurses, not because nurses don't want to work there, but because there's literally nowhere for them to live. So what does all this mean for you? If you're a prospective buyer in 2025, competition remains fierce for homes in desirable areas and reasonable price ranges. Homes priced below $300,000 in metro areas are typically receiving multiple offers and selling above asking price. Your best strategy is to get pre-approved for financing, work with an experienced local agent, and be prepared to act quickly when the right property becomes available. Consider looking at emerging neighborhoods or areas slightly outside your initial target zone. If you're a seller, you're still in a relatively strong position, especially if your home is priced appropriately and shows well. However, the days of throwing any property on the market and getting full price offers in 48 hours are fading. Buyers are becoming more selective. Price your home correctly from day one and invest in staging and professional photography. For renters, unfortunately, the outlook isn't great in the short term. Rental prices will likely continue increasing through 2025 as demand remains high. Your best bet is to negotiate lease terms when possible and stay informed about any rental assistance programs available through local housing authorities. Looking ahead to the rest of 2025 and into 2026, most housing economists predict Oklahoma's shortage will persist. Some forecasts suggest it could take 5 to 7 years of sustained construction above current levels to close the gap. Interest rates have stabilized somewhat in early 2025, but remain elevated compared to historic lows. Most experts don't anticipate dramatic rate decreases in 2025, which means borrowing costs will continue to impact affordability. What could change the trajectory? A significant increase in construction workforce through training programs could accelerate building. More aggressive state and local funding for affordable housing could help. Zoning reforms that allow higher density development could increase supply on existing land. But all of these solutions take time. Here's the bottom line. Oklahoma's housing shortage is real, it's significant, and it's not going away anytime soon. It's affecting home prices, rental costs, community growth, economic development, and quality of life across the state. Staying informed is your best tool for navigating this challenging market. Understanding the data, the trends, and the underlying causes helps you make smarter decisions whether you're buying, selling, renting, or investing. Thanks for watching Oklahoma House Report. If you found this breakdown valuable, subscribe for more updates on Oklahoma's housing market. I'll see you in the next one with more critical information you need to know.